Hello everybody, my name is Buzzycombs and welcome to some more Minecraft Dinotopia. Today, I would like to add another enclosure to my park, and it is going to be situated right here. Now that's a small space, and I want to try something a little bit different. So today, I am going to bring back the Kung Fu, I'm gonna call it because I cannot pronounce it. I want to bring back this flying little fella because I think we need a flyer in the park, and also it is small enough to fit over there. So because we are making our first flyer, I'm going to grab all the glass I can, and instead of the usual enclosure, I'm going to try to make a little dome because of course it's a flyer. We need it to be closed in pretty nicely. And on top of that, I'm also going to clear out a little bit of space just so we have a hair more room to set the enclosure. So the entrance to the enclosure, I think I would like it to be right here. And I want each face to have 5 blocks. And from here, I think I'm going to do 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, and then 5 over here. And I think this should give them enough room to fly around comfortably. So this is the basic shape of the dome. And what I'm going to do now is build it up by a few blocks and now start closing it in. And this is the dome. What I would like to do now is dig down by roughly 2 blocks. Next, I'm going to replace all the walls with stone and then get started on decorating. So for this enclosure, because it is a flying creature, I think I'd like to have at least one really cool rocky spire in the middle. And then along this edge over here, I'd like to have a cool little area that's a little bit more elevated than the rest of the enclosure. And then there's only going to be one way up, and that is through this corner over here. And then I'd like to start building it a little bit higher over in this area. That way we can start having a bit of a sheer cliff. Kind of like this. Now in the section over here, I'd like to sprinkle in a little pond. And now I think it'd be cute to add a little hanging swing above the water. And of course, I'm also going to add a few little perches here and there. That way the birds have a lot of fun places to fly to. Now I need a proper exit, which is just going to be a couple of stairs. Then I need to light it up with some torches. And I'm going to use some clover patches and some short prehistoric grass to liven things up a bit. Oh, and I think an even better touch will be these incredible purple prehistoric flowers. Yes, they are perfect. Okay, so now we just need to wait for the grass to finish growing in. While we're waiting, I'm going to grab a couple of planks and craft myself a door. And with this, we can safely close off the enclosure. Now, if you take a look at the progression of our eggs, unfortunately, we are completely out of biogoo. Now, to amend this, we do have to craft some more, but instead of just using round flesh like I always do, I'm actually going to grab some of my emeralds and trade with my paleontologist for some Confuciusornis flesh. Oh, I used all the emeralds, but that's okay. Now I just need to grab myself some eggs, as well as 10 bits of wheat. Then I need to get some milk from my lovely cow, Apocalyptic Milk, and use all these materials to craft myself a bunch more biogoo. And the end result is a whopping 40 biogoo, which will tide us over for quite some time. So now I just need to chuck this into the culture vat and finish cultivating all of my Kung Fus. So what I need to do while I wait for the last eggs to cultivate is craft a feeder for the enclosure. Now this I think would look pretty cute if it goes underneath this little overhang. Now I just need to stuff it full of all the wheat in the world. Cultivation failed! Oh no! Ah! Really, you stinking Confuciusornis? Oh, you look different. Oh, ew, it's got wings. You look very, very... Oh my gosh! Wait, can it fly? I don't think so. Sorry, little buddy, but it's time for me to put you out of your misery. Oh. Oh, he climbs! He can climb! That was horrifying! On the bright side, though, we do have some more Confuciusornis flesh. I guess we need to craft ourselves a new culture vat. Wha-bam and wha-bam. We are back in business, baby. That is silly. I'm not gonna say that again. Oh no! I just put my eggs in the feeder! Oh no! Oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. We now have meat. Dang it! On the bright side, though, my last egg, now my only 3 Kung Fu eggs, are finally finished incubating. So at least it's not all a loss, right? Setting aside that horrific tragedy, at the very least, we have 3 left, and so it's time to lay our 3 Kung Fus. Oh! Oh! Wait! Oh my gosh, oh, they're like they get laid like the dodos. Oh my gosh. Look at how tiny it is. It has definitely been changed since the last time I played this mod, and they look so cute. All right, little one, time to add in 2 more siblings. And now we have ourselves 2 males and a female. And they are oh so adorable. Now, hopefully they don't realize that the little bit of red in this feeder are some of their long-lost siblings. Anyways, though, if you guys have any name suggestions for our lovely new little birds, let me know in the comments down below. What I would like to do next today is actually adding a little bit of lighting to the paths, because right now we are in a hostile mob war zone. As you can see from those arrows right there, we get a bunch of mobs spawning around here at night, and I would like to correct that. So for our lighting, I think I would actually like to use some simple cobblestone pillars, as well as some Hakalanta fences, and of course, torches. And so my idea is to have a little pillar, have a little fence on top, and then the torch on top of that. And I think that looks kind of cute. So I'm just going to kind of start sprinkling this along the street as a means to light it all up. What? Apparently one of my Confus drowned, but there's not even a body. What the heck? Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this, but I genuinely have no idea what happened because there is no body in here. How could he have drowned? We are now down to only 2 Confus, and hopefully we won't lose any more. Now, for this patio area, I was starting to place down a bunch of torches, but I actually had the idea of maybe using some fairy lights instead. So I think I'm going to make some yellow fairy lights because that's the closest to the color of torches. And so with all these fairy lights, I'm going to merge them together into a few strings. And now that I have all these fairy light strings, I'm just going to build up a few pillars and then string up the lights between them all. And just like that, the entire park has been set alight. Now, my favorite part of it all has got to be the patio over here, because I feel like the fairy lights just add so much oomph to the area, and it looks so freaking cool. It feels like an actual food cart. But now that everything has been lit up, there are a couple more things I would like to do today. Now, firstly, I would like to finally make myself a chicken coop, and I think I'm going to situate it right around here. So first, I have to clear out a little bit of dirt, and I didn't want it to be anything too crazy, but as I usually like to do with my chicken coops, I would like it to be on stilts, and then the building itself will only be about 2 blocks tall. And of course, we need some cute little fenced windows on every side. And I'm actually going to replace the fence stilts with wood stilts because I feel like it looks a lot better. And instead of doing a soapstone and ebony roof, as is commonplace with my builds in this area, I'm simply going to stick with ebony. And this here is what the chicken coop is going to look like. Now, the last thing I have to do is just fence it in and spawning some chickens. Okay, so we only have 2, but that is just enough for us to have a breeding chicken population. But that is all for the chicken coop. Now, the last thing I'd like to do is one more thing in my farm area, and that would be a big old silo. And the reason I want to build a silo is because my little bone meal factory over here is a little bit of an eyesore, and I think a silo would be the perfect way to cover it up. So I think I'm going to put the silo right over here. And of course, it is going to be circular, as silos tend to be, and this is how big I would like it to be. Now, height-wise, I think I'm going to try 12 blocks roughly. Okay, you know what? I think 12 might be a little bit too tall, so I think I'm going to shrink it down by about 3 or 4 blocks. Yep, 3 blocks shorter looks like the perfect height for me. I'm going to give the roof a white rim, and then give the silo a gradually domed roof. And then I think for this last little bit up here, I would like to give it a dash of white. And then I'm going to add a couple of windows. And now that the silo is complete, I just need to tear down my bone meal maker and set it up in the silo. Also, I did take a look at a silo on Google Images, and I noticed that a lot of them seem to have a little bit of division on the roof, so I'm going to add in a couple of gasite cobblestone walls and some slabs to give it a cute little stripy appearance. Okay, I really like how that looks, and I think I can now sadly say that I have finished with the silo. The final thing I would like to do today is bring back 2 more Diplodocuses. And while those are cultivating, I would also like to get to naming the rest of my unnamed dinosaurs. So to start, I'm going to name all of my tacos, and a couple of you had the awesome idea of naming them all based on Mexican cuisine, so that is just what we are going to do. First is going to be quesadilla, then ceviche, pico, enchilada, salsa, tamale, burrito, and guacamole. And now I'm going to name my Dilophosauruses. First will be Dennis, then we have Dipper, Dolly, Dolores, Tarzan, Delilah, Bingo, and Manta. And those are all of our Dilophosauruses. Now we just have to wait for the cultivation to finish. Oh no! Wait, is all the stuff gone? I didn't see that the cultivation failed. Hold on, let me take another look. Oh man. Well, I guess we're not having another Diplodocus today. And so I'm just going to end the episode here. So if you guys enjoyed this episode of Minecraft Dinotopia, let me know by leaving a like and subscribe. And without further ado, thank you all so much for watching, and I guess I will see you next time. Bye-bye!